Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So guys, today is going to be a slightly different video. I'm going to be talking about a plant that I usually do not talk on my channel. If you have been watching my videos and following me for a long time, you might have noticed that I never talk about cactus on my channel. It's simply because I'm not very fond of cactus. No offense to cactus lovers, but I do love succulents more. So there is an old saying that all cacti are succulents, but not all succulents are cacti. So today I'm going to be talking about a very common cacti. Actually, if you're going to look at the plant, it doesn't even look like cacti because it doesn't even have any features or characteristics of a cactus. Because when you tend to hear the word cactus, the first thing that comes to your mind are spikes and thorns, something that is round, something that is plump. But if you look at a fishbone cactus, it doesn't have any of those features. It does not have those spikes, those thorns. It's not plump, it's not fat. In fact, the leaves of fishbone are very smooth, they are very flat, and it does not even resemble anything what a cactus does. Now these were all the physical features of the fishbone cactus. Now when I'm going to tell you the growing conditions and the growing requirements for this particular cactus, you will be even more surprised. Now guys, ideally cactus are desert plants, so basically they are in a very arid conditions. They do not have a lot of water, they are continuously under strong direct sunlight, and that's how they tend to grow. However, a fishbone cactus are completely different. They do not prefer direct sunlight, they prefer indirect but bright light. Now talking about watering, they do not like to be underwatered. They are not drought tolerant. In fact, they prefer to have slight moisture in the soil. So ideally this plant is labeled or sold as fishbone cactus or zigzag cactus, basically because of the design and the shape of the leaves. But the scientific name of this plant was Epiphyllum Anguliger, but right now it has been changed and now it is called as Disocactus Anguliger, but often named as or often called as fishbone cactus because it's much easy to refer to. So as I've already spoken about the light requirements, it prefers indirect bright light. Please do not expose it to direct sunlight. And as I said, watering, it requires slight moisture in the soil. It is not drought tolerant. Now guys, talking about the soil remains the same like what we use for our other succulents. The soil has to be loose, porous and well draining, but should maintain slight moisture. Now when I say slight moisture, it has to be slight moisture and not soggy wet soil. Again, the pot depends. The smaller the pot, the much better. They prefer to be in a root bound pot or in a smaller pot, and the pot should have a drain hole because we need a well draining soil. So if your pot does not have a drain hole, using a well draining soil makes no sense. So the pot has to have a drain hole because they do not like to be sitting in a pool of water. If they are overwatered, same like our other succulents, they will have a root rot. So now talking about multiplying and propagation of a fishbone cactus, it's very simple. All you have to do is just give it a cut. Wherever you tend to see that there is a joint, you can go ahead and give it a cut. Now not only that guys, you can cut any part of the leaf. You can even cut the leaf into half. Let it callus, let the cuts heal, and then you can put it into the soil and it will start to grow. So it's pretty simple. There is nothing that you need to be careful while cutting. You can cut any part of the fishbone cactus, let it callus and put it into the soil. In a couple of days it will start to root because this type of cactus tends to root quite fast. Now I usually let it callus and then I wait for the roots to appear, but a lot of times what is going to happen is you will notice that a lot of the leaves will have aerial roots. So if you do not want to wait for the roots, I would advise is look out for a leaf that already has an aerial root. So you can just cut it below the aerial root. Then all you have to do is just wait for it to callus and then you can put it into the soil because it already has an aerial root. Now the reason behind this is because whenever your environment has a lot of humidity, especially right now as I am into the monsoon season, there is a lot of moisture and a lot of humidity around. Now because of that, what happens is that if there is less moisture in the soil, they immediately start putting out some aerial roots so that they can absorb that moisture from the air. So that's exactly what's happening. You'll be able to see that my fishbone cactus has a couple of aerial roots. It's a good thing. There is no harm with that, because if you are planning for propagation, then this is going to work out really well for you. So what I'm going to be doing is I will be separating each of the joints. Wherever I feel that there are joints, I will be separating them so that I can propagate it. But again, as I said, you can even cut the leaf into half, let it callus, and you will be able to multiply with that as well. So what I just did was just for an example to show you how to put it into the soil. But whenever you are doing a cutting, please let the cuts callus, let the cuts heal. Do not put it immediately into the soil, because if the soil has even a bit of moisture, the cutting will start to rot. The cuts will come in contact with moisture and it will start to rot, just like how our other succulents also tend to have the same issue. It is also applicable to cactus as well. So you have to ensure that the cuts heal and dry before adding them into the soil. So now guys, quickly I will go ahead and separate all the new pups from the mother plant, and then I will just put the mother plant back into the soil. Now guys, talking about pest issues, I have been growing this particular cactus from a really long time, and I haven't come across any kind of pest issues. Basically because their leaves are very thick, it's not easy for the mealybugs to attack. I haven't even seen any kind of aphids or spider mites, or for that matter I haven't even seen any kind of mold growing on it. But in case, depending upon your environment, if you happen to see that either there are mealybugs or you happen to see that there is any kind of white mold growing on it, then all you have to do is just take a Q-tip, add some hand sanitizer or rubbing alcohol, and just clean the affected area and you're good to go. So I forgot to mention another physical characteristic of the fishbone cactus is that a fishbone cactus is more like a trailing cactus. Unlike other cactus, they tend to grow vertically, but that does not happen with our fishbone cactus. They are more like of a trailing variety. So as and when the new leaves start to get mature, or when they tend to grow bigger, they start falling out of the pot. Now I will be showing you my euphorbia. You will be able to see how they tend to grow. I'm sure a lot of you know how a cactus grows. They are more of vertical plants rather than trailing plants, but the fishbone is more of a trailing cactus. So if you want, you can grow them vertically, but that is going to take a little bit of efforts. Now one is that you would require a support, so either you'll have to use a stick or a pole in order for them to grow vertically. But that's not it guys. If you're thinking that just by using a stick or a pole you're done, it won't be growing vertically. Still, you'll have to do a lot of maintenance and cuttings, because whenever there is going to be a new shoot or a new leaf, and as and when the new leaf will start to get mature, it will start to trail again. So basically you'll have to constantly keep a check on it, and you'll have to do a regular maintenance by cutting off those new shoots, and only then you will be able to maintain the vertical position. So if you're going to ask my advice, I would say just use a hanging planter and just put your fishbone cactus in the hanging planter, and it will start trailing downwards, and it's going to look absolutely beautiful. Now guys, as I said that I'm going to share with you something that you might have not heard this before. Now when you're looking at the succulent, you will be able to see that there is some browning at the base of the cactus. Now guys, this is nothing harmful, or this is nothing to be worried about. This is not a rot. This is not that the cactus is drying up. This process is called as caulking. Now this is possible with all the cactus varieties. As and when the cactus ages, as and when the cactus gets mature, as and when the cactus starts growing, the base of the cactus will start to turn brown. It tends to look like wood. Now there is nothing to be worried about. This is not a fungal attack. This is not that the cactus is dying, or this is nothing related with the cactus drying up. It's not because of underwatering, but this is a very natural process. It's called as caulking. Now initially it is going to start from the base, and then it is going to slowly start going upwards. You will start noticing that the browning effect will come on most part of the cactus, but there is nothing to be worried about. It's a natural process. It states that the cactus is getting aged. It states that the cactus is getting mature. So a lot of the stem parts will start to turn brown. Now I know it doesn't look very good aesthetic wise. Cactus are supposed to be green in color, and when you see these patches of brown, it tends to look really bad, but that is a very natural process. If you want, all you can do is just cut off the part above the browning and then replant it. But as and when, as I said, as and when the cactus is going to grow, it is going to come up, it is going to show up those brown spots again. So in general, it is just an appearance of firm brown bark-like tissue of an otherwise healthy plant. Corking is a part of natural aging process of a cacti and even some succulents. Now corking will usually start from the base of the plant and then it slowly starts moving upwards. So please don't be worried, it's absolutely fine, you do not need to be panicked. So coming back to the fishbone cactus, if you want to know the dormancy and the non-dormancy period, a fishbone cactus would be going dormant in the winters, which is going to happen very soon. So you'll have to cut down on the watering and please do not add any fertilizers. The growing period is going to be during the summer season, so that's when you can give it a good amount of watering. And also if you're a kind of a person who adds fertilizers, you can then feed your fishbone cactus. So guys, I hope that this video on fishbone cactus was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep propagating.